Hi, guys. Welcome to another wonderful episode with Simple Coding Style. I'm Stephanie. You can call me Steph for short. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to create a database with MySQL and also a GUI to access the database, and then change a password in the database. Please sit, relax, and enjoy the various stages. Okay, so before we start, please ensure to click on the subscribe button and like the video. Thank you very much. All right, so this is the GUI we are going to be working with. I have already created this, but I'm going to show you the process of creating this GUI and also creating a database that this GUI can access and change passwords. Okay, so here are the stages. So these entry fields have a validations. Okay, so if you do not input the correct thing or the fields are empty, you're going to get a message. Okay, so let's say we use a name that does not exist in the database. Let's say just going to say Henry, and okay, sorry, let's say you want to change your password. Okay, this is the interface for changing your password. You want to change your password and you can remember the username that you have already used to apply for whatever the thing is, but you have forgotten your password. Okay, so the basic thing is for you to remember your username and then you create a new password, confirm that. So once that is done, automatically it changes on the database. And then it's that new password you use to log into the new place you think you want to log into. Okay? All right, so let's assume we have Henry as a username already existing on the database, and I want to change the password. I will simply just put on my password. Let's say I'm going to say Henry. I'm just assuming Henry is existing there, but if Henry does not exist, this is going to send me a message telling me that the name does not exist on the database. Okay, so let's go to the next one. To confirm that password, I'm going to still say Henry. Now simply click on my submit button. Okay, so now we see here that the name does not exist. Okay, another way to check for validation as well, if an entry field is not entered, it's simply going to send a message telling you that an entry field is empty. Okay, so let's all entry fields must be entered. Okay, so ensure that all of that are being entered because every field is important. Okay, so we have seen a name that does not exist in the database. So now let's go to the database and confirm. Normally you would not supposed to know that. So if you have normally forgotten your password and you do not remember your username, you're just going to create a new one. But if you remember your username, you can easily just create a new password and change it. Okay, so now I'm just going to go to my database to check for an existing username. Just going to put my password, and then I'm going to check for the database. Okay, so I'm simply going to ask my SQL to show all of the databases. It's just going to display this for me. And these are the list of the databases I have. So for this project, I'm making use of registration. So I'm going to use registration. There it is. And then I would like to see the tables on this database, okay? And this is the table name. So this is the table name I'm going to work with. I want to select all from the name of this table, okay? So this query simply means to display all of the rows and columns in this table, okay? So this is the name of the table. So I'm just simply going to press my enter key, okay? All right. Okay, this I omitted the ION here. Okay, so I'm just going to simply type that again. Select or from registration form. Okay, I'm going to enter that. All right, so now this is the already existing data on this registration form. We have a first name, last name, gender, email, password, confirm password, time is being entered, and the primary key. Okay, so now with this our GUI, we can simply just, let's say you have remembered your first name, and we'll say our first name is James, and then we want to change our password, which is already Brandy, okay, and we want to change that to something else. So I'm just simply going to say, let me just use the name James as well, James. And to confirm that, I will use James as well. I'm simply going to submit this to the database. Automatically, this is going to change. Okay? Our changes are successful. Okay, so now I'm going back to my database to confirm that. I'm just going to simply click on that again. Select or from registration form. Okay, that's what this query, line of query simply means. Okay, and I'm going to hit my enter key. All right, so we have James here, and let's look out for the password. Now you can see it changed from Brandy to James. Okay, so this is just another way to simply do this method. Okay, the basic thing is for you to remember your first name. Okay, just remember your name, the name you use to register for the thing you want to register. Okay, and then you can simply just change it. So this is just a process. But before we start the main process, please, we have to be on the same page of have already installed MySQL. Okay, if you haven't, there is a link below to show you the easy steps to download and install MySQL. Okay, so after that, we will open our command line client and input our password into it to go live. Okay, with that, we'll be able to display our database and create our database and all of that. All right, so please, like I said, sit, relax, and enjoy this process. Okay, so let's start. We're going to create a new project for this, and we call this change password. Okay, call it whatever you want. So create a new window for this. This is going to take a while. Okay, so that is done. Simply just going to highlight all this, take them. size of your geometry here. It's still the same thing. But okay, let me just leave that to that. So we'll say 530. Okay, and my height is going to be the same size of that. So I'm going to simply say 119. Okay, this is my width and this is my height. Okay, so I want my frame to fix in the window size. So that's why I'm giving it the same value. And then for my background color, I would want this to be okay, I think that should be it for this value. Okay, and then for my border, this is just going to be 8. Okay, so now I'm going to place this frame somewhere. It's going to be in a place, and from the x-axis it's going to be 0, the y-axis is going to be 0. So this is basically going to cover everywhere. There's no specific value to it, so it's going to occupy everywhere in the frame. All right, so let's run this to confirm that. Okay, there we are. Our frame is created, and this is the color chosen for our frame. This is the background color. This is the color chosen for the frame. Okay, so stop this, and we'll go to the next one. So this is where we're going to create the heading for our we're going to create a heading for the page. So we're going to name label. It's going to be a label, and it's going to be in our frame. And the text on that label is just simply going to be name. Okay, and the font ground is going to be black, and the background is still going to be the same as what we've been using initially. So we're going to have this will be 5 F's and 5. And then for our fonts, it's going to be small letters. So for our font is caliber, the same as that, caliber, and this one is going to be size 18, and it's going to be bold as well. So now let's place this label somewhere in the frame. I have to place it in a certain place. So that is why we're using our place widget. Okay, so now for our name label dot place, so we want this to be placed in 10, position 10, and for the y it's going to be 90. Okay, so let's run this to confirm that. Okay, let's see, do we have an error here? Okay, we don't know where could that be coming from. Name. Right. Next is okay, do we have our caliber? And this is just going to be size 18 and it's going to be italic bold. Okay, and then we're going to have a width for that. And the width is simply going to be just 20, and the height for that is going to be just 2. And then our background is the same as always, just this. Okay, sorry, this is submit button. It's going to have a different color for that. Okay, so this is the previous one, so this is the color we're going to work with here. Okay, so and the color for that is just that hash 7f 7f, I think like that, 7f. Then it's supposed to be triple f. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And then we're going to have a foreground, which our foreground is just going to be black. And definitely because it's a button, you will want your cursor to display there, indicating that is a button. So we're going to use a button and 2. And lastly, we're going to have a border, which is just going to be 4. Okay, so now we're going to place this somewhere. So our submit button is going to be placed from the x-axis is going to be 100. It's going to be 100, and for the y-axis is just going to be 280. All right, so let's run this and see what we have. Okay, so that's pretty much for our GUI. Our GUI is created already. So for the next stage is to create our database. Okay. All right, so I want to explain something to you. So using the database, there are different user interfaces for this. So you can decide to use a workbench, MySQL workbench. Okay, you can decide to use a popsicle. This is a popsicle here. You can decide to use this interface. You can also decide to use my command finds. Okay, you can spell that wrong. Yes, you can decide to use this as well. So that is just your preference. It's still the same process of creating a database. Okay, so now we are here. I want us to create a database first before we can connect our GUI to the database, and then we'll be able to change our password through that. Okay, so now after your installation, you open your command line client. Okay, and then you just simply put in your password you used in creating that MySQL. Okay, so this is just mine, and I'm just going to simply hit enter to be on the page, to be online. Okay, so that is pretty much it. Okay, so for the next stage, like I said, we're going to start working on the database. Okay,